Have you ever heard of the My Father Wasn't Around network? Or how about the I Never Had the Support network? Or maybe you've heard of the I've Been Cheated On network. Well, as crazy as these names may be, there are a great many more of what may seem to have strange names, but are all actual real broadcasting networks that are very popular around the world, that oddly enough, most of us do not know that we are often tuned into, that play major influences in our lives. If these networks all sound like what people would say for excuses, then that is with good reason. But what may be the most interesting part about the networks is discovering who the creators of these fascinating broadcast systems are. Let me share a little story with you. Back when I was in junior high school, I can recall my dad, Big L, dropping me off to school after my doctor's appointment that morning. As I was getting out of his car, we heard the bell ring indicating the change of a class period. And he tells me that if I hurry up, perhaps I could make it to the next class on time. But as I took my time, I assured him that I would be okay because the note from the doctor would excuse the tardiness. So when I opened the door of the classroom, as expected, my classmates were all seated. And as I started heading directly to the teacher, she turned around from the chalkboard and says to me, "L, why are you late? And I don't want to hear any excuses." So I instantly made a beeline for my desk. She then yells out, "L, didn't you hear me ask you a question?" And I said, "Yes, Miss Green, I heard you. I was on my way to give you this note from the doctor. But since you didn't want any excuses, I'm going to my desk." Instantly turning red, Miss Green grumbled, "Bring me the note." When the bell rang to release the class, Miss Green asked me to stay behind for a moment to have a word with her. After the class cleared up, she told me that I embarrassed her because I was right and that she said she didn't want to hear any excuses, and me going to the doctor was the excuse. I apologized for embarrassing her, but explained that I only responded with the truth of the matter. And it was that day that my teacher gained a new respect for me. But the bigger lesson was in that I came to learn that in this sense, the words excuses and reasons are ultimately the same thing. And it would become the beginning of me gaining a broader perspective of having an understanding in the power of making excuses. You see, as many of us claim that we cannot stand excuses, the reality of it is that we all make and use them because, again, it is synonymous with the word reason. For example, when we call someone back from a dropped or missed call, or whatever may have taken place, we generally call the person back and give the reason for what happened, which of course is translated into the excuse that is given. Now, I'm not being petty with words here. Understand that when most of us say that we do not like excuses, what we really mean is we do not care to hear others deflect responsibility. And yes, like so many words that we have with multiple meanings, that is also the meaning of excuse. And that is really what we do not care for. However, we all have to give excuses if we desire to explain anything that has transpired for us. But what if you discovered that excuses can actually be useful and productive? Yes, it's just a matter of how you view them. So here again, I'm making the announcement of something that most of us have not been taught, and that absolutely everything is energy, and we humans are all energetic, conscious beings with a direct connection with the unending, abundant universe that forms a frequency to match whatever frequency that we are vibrating. In other words, all of your thoughts and feelings are vibrations that have their own frequencies that are sending its signals to the universe. In return, the universe is sending back to you the manifestations that perfectly match your signals. But what happens when we have experiences and or simply entertain something that was told to us where the vibration gains momentum because of our constant focus and belief in it, the frequency then becomes as its own network on autopilot where it constantly presents programs aligned with that thinking. It is just like tuning your television into CNN or Fox News networks. They are going to present to you news because that is what is programmed there. BET will present entertainment from black creators, and the Weather Channel will talk about the weather. Well, if you give focus to not trusting due to the feeling that people have done you wrong, then in similar fashion you set up the I Have Trust Issues network, and you will receive constant evidence that supports that belief. The same with strong feelings because you've been cheated on, or you were abandoned as a child, or your siblings were treated better than you were, or you've been taken advantage of, or you are a minority, or there is a generational curse that you must overcome, or the powers that be are lying to us, or we're living in the worst of times, or. The endless reasons, or should I say excuses, why your life is going the way that it is going. You do not realize that you have created a network that the law of attraction will continue to provide you the evidence of your belief. I mean, what do you think's supposed to show up if your belief is there is no good men or women out there? Huh? But the great part about it is that it could work for you if you choose to benefit from the experiences. For example, there can be two men with the reason to why they are the way they are as fathers because they did not have a father in their lives when they were growing up. So one repeats the ways of his absent father to his kids because he says that he had no example of how to be a father for himself. And the other one chooses to view the absence of a father in his life as an inspiration to not provide the same hurtful experiences for his children, so he does the opposite of what was done for him. So either way there, my father wasn't around network is customized specifically for each of them, therefore always allowing them to justify their personal movements. And believe it or not, there is no limit to the networks that we create for ourselves that the universe will deliver proof of our beliefs. People, believe me when I say that your belief is as real as you personally believe it to be, excluding nothing. So it may be beneficial for you to do an evaluation to discover what networks that you have created and how they are serving you. Because I can assure you that you have some networks that are in conflict with each other due to the mixed signals that you are sending. My beautiful spiritual siblings, the point of all this is the universe has no preference of how you see it, and the way that you particularly see it is yours and yours alone. You can continue to make your excuses, your reasons, or your why to where you are in life be what you have been making them and continue to get what has been coming if it works for you the way that you desire. Or you can create some new, big, powerful excuses or reasons as to why your life is so special, even though you have experienced many of the same things that others also have experienced that is holding them back in life. You can tell the world that you know that you are an extension of the very source energy that creates worlds, and you are entitled to feel good, and that is why things are always working out for you. I myself personally seek to tune into a well-being awareness network when I notice that I'm out of alignment, and I invite you all to tune into that frequency as often as possible as well. Hey, I love how the most awesome, late, great Muhammad Ali created his personal truth that he was the greatest of all time, and he walked in that light even in the midst of times when what the world saw as defeat for him. And now you can choose to make your very own GOAT network because being you is all you have been assigned to be. Thank you for visiting with Papa L today.